Doctor, would you please come forward? I can't read your handwriting.
Dr. El-Deiry.
And Chair, if there's anyone in the overflow room, they should probably come now.
Say again?
If there's anyone in the overflow room who wants to testify, they would come now.
There is nobody listed for testifying on this bill. We're taking it out of order. Representative
Okay.
Ackerman, go right ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairman, committee members. A big part of medical research today involves using patient data to identify potential causes of disease. That requires amounts of data, and to get those large amounts of data, researchers often share this. We recognize that patient privacy is a major concern. Extensive federal rules to protect privacy are already in place. However, Rhode Island law is more restrictive than federal protections, meaning that Rhode Island researchers and patients often can't participate in research that is open across the rest of the country. House Bill 8088 is a minor edit to state law to correct this. It would align Rhode Island with federal rules regarding research and with the rest of the states. We're doing some really amazing things in our state right now regarding research, and I can't wait to have the good doctor tell you all about it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to have him answer them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions at this time from the committee? Okay, we will move on to our first witness. Sir, would you please introduce yourself and let us know who you represent?
Thank you, Chairman Casey and distinguished committee members. My name is Wafik El-Deiry. I'm the director of the Legorreta Cancer Center at Brown University, an associate dean at the medical school. I'm also a practicing medical oncologist at the Lifespan Cancer Institute, where I see patients every week. I did my medical training and oncology training at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore many years ago, and spent most of my career on the faculty at University of Pennsylvania, and been up here for a few years trying to build a cancer center for the state of Rhode Island so that patients will have the best care here and won't have to travel far away. I do drug discovery research, try to bring new clinical trials to patients. And one of the major advances in cancer treatment has been to recognize that almost every tumor is different from every other tumor, and this impacts on how patients respond to the treatments they receive. So while a lot of progress has been made to find out what makes some tumors grow and avoid the immune system and resist treatment, we still have a lot to discover about predicting who will benefit from cancer treatments. Being able to do that will help patients get the right treatments and not waste time with ineffective treatments. There are certain cancers that are more prevalent in Rhode Island, such as bladder cancer, lung cancer, endometrial cancer, breast cancer, thyroid cancer, among others. We don't know why, and we need to understand the causes so that we can work to prevent exposures and find appropriate treatments. So in clinical oncology practice these days, patients get molecular tests to see what's driving their cancers and to determine the best treatments for them. The medical records have these results, the drugs that are used to treat, and how well they work for the patients who develop those cancers. And as you know, not everyone responds in the same way, and so we still need to understand why. So being able to access large amounts of data and electronic medical records while maintaining confidentiality and abiding by HIPAA privacy rules is necessary to advance our knowledge in these areas. To do this type of medical research in 2022 requires collaboration with others, often outside our hospitals and covered entities. This is because in some cases one has to look at large numbers of patients and so data aggregation is important. In other cases, we want to compare communities within Rhode Island to each other, or Rhode Island to other states. If we don't share data, we also don't get access to data from other states. So as it stands, Rhode Island law may be the strictest in the country as far as data sharing, well beyond federal law that allows sharing of de-identified data. Such research involving review of medical records that are de-identified is low risk and is typically exempt from new consent procedures for each record that's reviewed. The strict requirements in Rhode Island are disadvantaging the people of Rhode Island by stifling research activities. We've been falling years behind other states in doing needed research to provide better care for the people of Rhode Island. This is hurting our scientists and our patients. Aligning what's done with other states would help Rhode Islanders. The research would still be reviewed by institutional review boards, and in most cases, consent would still be required. But for some research, consistent with federal law, certain research that poses minimal risk would be allowed to proceed under a waiver of consent approved by the IRB. I am thankful to Representative Mia Ackerman for introducing this legislation to make it easier to conduct medical research that involves data sharing. This is a minor edit of the existing law that ensures patient privacy while allowing important research to proceed. So thank you for considering this important bill.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our witness? Hearing none, we will move to our next witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Al Dahlberg for Brown University. I'm just here to answer any questions. I have no further testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Kasari, you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. In the sentence that is updated in the bill, there's a reference to 21 CFR .50 and 45 CFR .46. What is that?
Those are provisions of federal regulations that have to do with patient privacy protections, and those are the provisions that currently provide the level of protection that Dr. El-Deiry was mentioning that already exists under federal law.
Okay, so only because institutional review is like, it's a different language to people who are outside of the institutions. I think just, can you just simplify this a little bit? Right now, we cannot get data that comes in a whole data set with people's identities taken out because of our laws. And what we're doing is, let's say there's a data set that we need or that you want to look at, but we cannot get it because we don't have permission in the law or because the data is not de-identified. Can you just, does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I think the simple answer is that attorneys at Lifespan and at Brown have told our researchers that they cannot share de-identified patient data with other researchers outside the state because of this provision of state law. They think that sharing of data would violate that provision. And if we don't share data with other researchers, we can't take advantage of the data they have. So there's no, there has to be reciprocity.
Okay, so in an example of kind of what we're all living through, COVID data, if we had a set of de-identified COVID data around, say, school children, we wouldn't be able to then work with a Yale, let's say, and share their de-identified data. We wouldn't be able to look at the population as a whole because we need this particular piece of legislation changed.
That's correct.
Thank you.